Hello and welcome to Startup Champions 2.0, the show where you meet and learn from National Startup Award winning founders. In the episode today, you will meet two startup champions from Industry 4.0. They are Nayan and Twasta. Before we meet our startup champions today, from the entire team at Startup Champions 2.0, I wish everyone watching this show a phenomenal New Year 2023. Have you ever seen people taking pictures of big billboards on highways and in cities? Now, all of this could be done automatically with a live camera feed. Imagine the applications in large warehouses and manufacturing facilities. Computer vision and AI are going to change the world and make the world a lot more trustworthy and efficient. Let's now see the Niantic story.
The system of Nayan uses computer vision and artificial intelligence, many servers which use the videos coming in from the masses. And how a common man can help is they download an application of Nayan and they use the application on their mobile, on their dashboard, on the car when they're driving. So it could be an auto wala, Swiggy, Zomato wala, traffic wala, truck, bus, koi bhi driver, auto rickshaw. You put your mobile phone on the dashboard and you drive. The AI inside your mobile phone in the application of Nayan captures issues on the roadways, captures events on the roadways. Every data point that you find that is of need to a city or a business or a government, you get points against it. Points are decided by the importance of the data point. So you keep collecting, you get paid.
Jayant Rati, as he's my elder son, was very keen on going abroad for his higher education. Staying there for 11 years, he just told me, I somehow don't feel at home in US, and if I have to work so hard and do all these new innovations which are there, why can't I do it in my own country? And so he came back here with his concepts, his ideas about managing the traffic situation of India.
Dr. Jayant and Tushar, welcome to Startup Champions 2.0.
Thank you so much.
My first question to the both of you is, all of these gadgets look totally brilliant. I'm sure each one of them actually solves a certain problem. I do also understand that there are a lot of gizmos and a lot of cameras. Now, I'm going to hand you over these products. Why don't you actually tell our viewers what exactly is it that they do? How do they capture data? So let's first start with this phenomenal drone that you've actually created. Dr. Jayant, I'll hand it over to you. Go ahead and tell us the application of this drone.
So this drone is called Drona from our popular mythology and spirituality. It's meant to be a small, versatile drone that can fly in tight spaces between buildings, in forests, on the borderlines, be useful to military, police, even common man, reporters, journalists. Anyone with permissions required can monitor cities, can monitor infrastructure, and even terrorists and people who might come along on the border types and so on.
Phenomenal. And talking about the entire technology that you've actually created, it is small, it is very, very compact.
Yes.
I have some of your cameras. Let me just take the drone from you, and let's now actually talk about the cameras that you've created. Why don't you actually show our audience the camera? Just keep it in your hand a little, and tell us more about these cameras that you have. It's unbelievable that it could be so small.
So we've been very good at making things very small, and we've been working in the US for 11 years. So we took a lot of our experience delivering for some of the very high brands, and these are military and organizations and very big companies. So we made them very small, very tight. They can be put as small sensors on any electronics, any drone, any robot. And the smaller they are, the more compact they can become, less power they can consume. Generally a good fit for all sort of electronics and robotics.
Very interesting. So are the same cameras in your drone as well?
Same cameras are on the drone also.
Very interesting. Fantastic. Since we're talking about cameras, one big application for all of you, just check this out. What I have in my hand right now is actually a phone. No, I'm not joking. This is a phone. Of course, now you would say, Paritosh, how do I dial something on this? Let me tell you, this little chip that I have in my hand is exactly or probably better than a lot of chips that are right now in some of the fanciest smartphones that you have, that you buy for yourself. What this startup has created is something way more phenomenal. So Dr. Jayant, why don't you actually tell us what this chip fundamentally does? I'll take the I'll take the cameras off your hand. So please, please go ahead.
Great. So this is a smartphone board, and we decided, we were thinking, how do we get something in the hands of a common man that is smart enough, that is versatile enough? And so with that idea, after many experimentations, we finally squeezed all the electronics that we need to design a full-out smartphone with multiple cores and multiple components, RAM, storage, compute capacities, has multi-quad core processors and so on, and squeezed everything down, kept doing it. After many months of vigorous effort, we designed a full smartphone with SIM card, with double memory, 2 cameras, a quad-core processor, and squeezed it to the size of your finger. So now you can put it on any drone, any electronics, any camera, and do many magical things with it.
This is phenomenal. Now tell me something, Dr. Jayant, and of course Tushar. This of course is the data capturing part, right? This is where you capture a lot of data using your cameras. But what does a common man like me do with your technology? Tell us more about that. For that, I'm going to hand you over your smartphone. So please go ahead and tell me, how do I engage with your company?
So the most wonderful thing about being a regular citizen, just like all of us, is we don't need to buy expensive technologies. In the palm of your hand is the simplest possible technology that everybody has. And by using this simple technology, you can do many amazing things. We have designed an application for everyone, whether it's an Ola driver, Uber driver, Swiggy driver, Zomato urban company, name it. Trucks, buses, autos, you and me going to work and coming home. Anyone on the road, even standing, you can download a simple application called Nayan.
Okay.
And this application simply tells you what all things you need to find on a road. So keep in mind and drive. You just do your business. Our artificial intelligence on your phone will capture all these data points that are interesting. How this works? Let me show you the magic. This is a common street with us driving with the application on the road. And you don't know how it works. Simply drive. And as issues in the city like broken traffic lights, garbage on the road, construction on the road, people jumping red lights, vehicles driving with broken mirrors, broken bonnets, broken windows, issues, road pavements, potholes, everything. Whatever is a need of a city, whatever is the need of the country at the moment, of a local department at the moment, everything is picked up through artificial intelligence and reported to the different organizations. Fast, very heavily decentralized, no capex, all opex, and the government does not need to maintain anything. This is the power of artificial intelligence in the hands of a common man.
Sure. And when you actually capture all of this data, now tell me something. What do you do with it? Once the information reaches them, you are giving me a lot of points, right? What do I do with those points?
So all the points collect in your wallet, and the best part, you can cash out anytime you like.
Phenomenal.
You can get that deposited in your bank account. You can go to Amazon. You can buy some interesting books for your children. You can buy some accessories for your car, groceries for your home, whatever you want.
Sure.
And you have not spent a moment doing anything dedicated.
Sure.
You have simply just driven your car or stood on a traffic light, and that's it.
So, while of course now you've actually given us a use case of cameras, phone cameras that we have with us, right? But do you also work with, CCTV cameras that are installed by the government on streets? Do you also work with that hardware?
Yes. So we've been graced by His Excellency in Dubai, His Excellency Commander-in-Chief, and the senior people in the Major Generals and so on in Dubai. They have graced us, and they've given us the opportunity. We also won accelerator programs and first prizes in GITEX. So they took the awards and they gave us the opportunity to test all the CCTVs in Dubai.
Wow.
And we were able to collect traffic violations like wearing no seat belts, using a mobile phone, you driving with broken tail lights, headlights, jumping lines, and driving erratic. So we have been picking up this for now 2 years. And a lot of thanks to the government. And since then, we have started consuming CCTVs in multiple regions also.
Got it. Fantastic. And do anybody sort of working with you? Of course, do they actually have to use existing hardware, or do they have to buy your hardware?
You can use any phone on the planet, so long as at the moment it's available.
You have your app.
You have the app.
Sure.
Go to Play Store. Just type in Nayan. Nayan, by the way, the Sanskrit word is the eyes.
Correct.
So very simple to remember. Just type in Nayan.
Sure.
Download the application and leave your phone on the dashboard of your car, or just sit and have some tea on the corner of a choraha. and just let the phone watch everything and you relax.
The most important question, what's your business model? How do you guys make money?
As we talk about the insights that are generated by the AI models and by people recording, so these things can be actually sold to the specific departments or organizations that are interested in this data. So for example, we went to governments, we can also go to fleets who are managing their entire fleets. We can also directly go to consumers who want a specific type of data, a specific data point that they are interested in. Maybe they are interested in dentists around my place. I can just go and search on the Nayan application and I'll find that. Whoever is providing you that data is getting paid for it. We are getting paid for providing you that data.
This is fantastic. So you get paid by, of course, governments and businesses, and all of them who are actually using this data. Do you also share revenues with consumers who are actually creating this data via the points, right?
Yes.
That's what you do. Fantastic. So now you realize the fact, if you want to make money, come on, Nayan. All right. So my last question to you is, look, millions of Indians are actually watching you right now on this very show. They want to be entrepreneurs like you. They want to actually solve big problems like you. What's your message to all of them?
So we would, for entrepreneurs, the road is always, it's always brighter when you go a little farther.
Sure.
And that is always the case with entrepreneurs. You are never far enough. So the idea is not to deep dive and set your heart on a certain milestone. The idea is to keep persisting, keep working on something that you're passionate about, because the ride is long, you need to enjoy what you do. So keep at it. There is no end of the road, by the way.
Awesome.
But enjoy the journey.
Sure. So Dr. Jayant and Tushar, thank you so very much. The top two lessons of this session are, number one, the applications of computer vision and technology are immense. You can build a fantastic business using this technology. Number two, imagine you could use computer vision and tech to increase the lifespan and working efficiency of 1 billion Indians. Just imagine that for a second, what you could achieve in your life using this tech. Now imagine you could live in a 3D printed house instead of laborers, a printer literally building your house from scratch. To know the world of 3D printing, meet me on the other side of this break. I'll see you on the other side. Welcome back to Startup Champions 2.0. The future is now. It takes about 2 years to build a home from scratch, at least. Imagine a printer could do it for you in 1/3 of that time. Imagine you could literally print office spaces like you print a sheet of paper. Our startup champion has created printers that use concrete and other specially designed raw materials to literally print a concrete structure. Let's now see the Twasta story.
We are a company based on 3D printing. So we do construction 3D printing as a primary focus area. 3D printing is so versatile. It can cater from anything from small structures to even a big structure. There is no restriction on the design, and at the same time the entire construction process is much faster, and it's also much efficient. We have done India's first 3D printed house in IIT Madras. We have also done a couple of guest houses for Indian Air Force. Everything is indigenously developed, make in India, right from materials, software, machine, and also the structure design. In the long term, we want to make the technology more affordable and then go towards affordable housing.
What our software does is, it takes a 3D model from any CAM software which is available on the market, and we use this format called STL. So this file format we give it to our software, which will then figure out how this model will look at every layer. Our software communicates with the machine. It tells it at what speed it needs to be moving, how much material it needs to deposit, and it calculates on how much time and how much material the whole process is going to take also.
Aditya, welcome to Startup Champions 2.0.
Thank you so much.
Aditya, my first question to you, and of course, to the entire Twasta team is, how is a concrete 3D printer fundamentally different from all the rest of the 3D printers that we've seen?
Yeah, first of all, I mean, a concrete 3D printer is a much bigger system. You're talking about a 3D printer that is the size of a building, or I mean, it can accommodate a building inside it, print out an entire structure. So, I mean, it also works using concrete as a raw material. The other 3D printers, the most commonly used 3D printers usually use plastic or sometimes metal, but this one deposits concrete in the right shape to build out or print an entire building. And it deals with materials at a throughput rate or a flow rate of meter cubes per hour, whereas all other 3D printing technologies basically are very slow.
Very interesting. And this entire setup that you fundamentally created, does it use the same cement that is normally available with which we actually build our homes, or is it completely different? Is it something so new that we just don't know of it yet?
Yeah, so the fundamental raw materials that go into the 3D printer are similar to what is available in the market, but it is the mixed design or the combination of materials that we have come up with that is very different. So the concrete that comes out of this combination that we use is very different from what is available in the market.
Interesting. Just for my curiosity, so while you are actually building or printing, in fact, not building, 3D printing an entire house, are there bricks there, or is it just the concrete coming in and stacks of concrete?
Not at all. So there are no bricks. It is concrete which is deposited layer by layer in a particular shape to achieve any design that you or the customer might want. So it is directly printed using a special variety of concrete that we have developed, and these structures are designed and entered into the 3D printer using a computer. So we get any type of design, any type of architectural component that we require.
So you are fundamentally creating something fairly complex, right? Absolutely. And I'm sure a lot of failures would have actually, you would have encountered a lot of failures during this journey. But during COVID, you did something very interesting. During COVID, while the entire nation was in a lockdown, you actually created and 3D printed the first ever house or a structure at the IIT Chennai campus. Tell us more about the entire journey.
Absolutely. So the journey has been extremely hard because we are developing something that is really something like a brick and mortar technology. So we require mechanical engineering, software engineering, electronics engineering, civil engineering, everything to come together. So it was really possible because we were in a very nurturing environment like IIT Madras. And in the middle of COVID, we were able to build the structure when there was a labor shortage, because the productivity of laborers are extremely high when they use a technology like 3D printing. So we were able to build this structure within 21 days in a very minimal period of time, and we are capable of building the structure much faster now. It has been a couple of years since we built it. And we were able to do it because we are using a 21st generation technology like 3D printing, which is automated, which builds out everything once we give a command to a computer.
Very interesting. Yeah. So what's your business model? How do you make money?
So we offer 3D printing as a service to builders and construction players. We are absolutely a B2B2C player. We aid construction companies and others to build and provide these to the end consumers. So what we do is we provide this entire technology as a package. We have built the 3D printer, the material, the software, and the process that goes with it. So people do not have to sort of run around to figure out how 3D printing works. We give it as a turnkey technology. Builders can use it to build these structures and give it out to consumers. We will provide them the entire support necessary to make it happen.
Interesting. And once you, let's say, built a certain structure for a certain builder or somebody who sort of hired you to do that, do you also take care of everything in terms of fixing that structure if it needs any of it in the future?
Absolutely. So we are working with partners who will enable us to do that. Because we are a small company, we do not have the reach to provide this across the country. So we have partnered with various partners who will help us with the last mile finishing activities. We focus on what we are good at, which is the 3D printing technology. We print out 3D printed modules. We fix it with all the aspects that can be done within the factory environment or at the construction site, along with the 3D printing process. And then our partners help us with finishing the rest of the structure, doing the fittings and things of that sort.
So this is an expensive hardware to actually create, right? So how did you fund the business on day one? And have you raised any external funding till date?
Absolutely. So it is expensive to work with. There is a lot of research that goes into it. There is mechanical elements, electrical elements, things that have to come together. So initially our friends and family were able to support us to a good extent until we sort of had our, footing. And after that, we did raise external funding. A few investors such as Habitat for Humanity, Asian Development Bank, Hesia Ventures, Aravati Fund, they have funded us, and we have raised more than $2.5 million right now. It's about 20 crores, and we are raising another round quite soon. Yeah.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that. Millions of Indians are watching you right now on this very show on StartupChampions 2.0. They want to be entrepreneurs like you. They want to be problem solvers like you, fundamentally. What's your message to all of them?
So it is actually a very good time to start a company. There has been never a more positive time in India to do something new. The government is supportive. There are networks which are ready to fund you. But you have to have that ability to reach out to people, network, and really sort of persist with your idea. So networking and persistence are two most important things that a person should have.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for your answer. So networking and persistence, the two most important things. The two top lessons of this session are: number one, 3D printing has massive opportunities. You can just see it for yourself. Number two, you could essentially disrupt the entire manufacturing industry with 3D printing and IoT if you were to actually build them all together. All the success lies outside of your comfort zone. It's time for a break. Up next will be questions from our audience and step number 21 of how to start a startup. I will see you on the other side. Welcome back to Startup Champions 2.0. It's now time for your questions, the tough ones, and of course, answers from our startup champions. Are you guys ready?
Absolutely.
Our audience actually asked some very intelligent, very tough questions, so be very ready for it. All right, let's take our first question. Please come on screen and ask your question.
My name is Prem Ranjan and I am from Delhi. I have a question for Nayan Technology. Do you also deploy your engineers at customer location to evaluate data and make sense of it?
So we do in some cases. We do want to make sure that the delivery that we do from the artificial intelligence perspective meets the minimum requirements from a camera. So if you're a traffic police, we at least need to understand if the cameras you're giving us is able to read your number plates.
Sure.
If you're an infrastructure construction company or municipality, we want to make sure the cameras can identify if it's a pothole or actually an animal lying on the road. It's enough clarity, resolution. So some level of inspection we do. We can do it even remotely by getting a feed from them for a temporary few minutes and making sure it's good, and then it's cleared.
Sure.
But we do not want to invest too much time at the customer side. Get to the point is our goal.
Now it's the time for our second question. Please come on screen and ask your question.
I'm Anshul Yadav and I'm from Delhi. And I have a question for Tovastar. Is a 3D printed house as stable and strong as a usual structure built by a labor?
So we ensure that we test out each one of the printed modules in batches when we do our 3D printing process. We have been able to develop a material that is much stronger than what is conventionally used, which are bricks. We are also printing with concrete, which is a very strong material by itself. So fundamentally, the structure that comes out is not very different from a conventionally built house, so people can have that safety sort of feeling. Because in India, there is a premium placed on a Pakka house, and we do give that to the customer. Our houses are very stable. We test it out with almost many eminent institutes within the country, and we are working to make it earthquake safe throughout the country.
Fantastic. Thank you so very much for your answers. It's now time to convert our learning to earning. Let's continue our journey of learning with step number 21 of how to start a startup. The step is make your business model repeatable. Listen to me again. I'll repeat it for you. Make your business model repeatable. Business model is what can be repeated. That's the real business model. Otherwise, if you've created something that makes you a little bit of money and then it gets lost, it's of no use. Build a repeatable business model. You must be unit level positive. Remember this. Ensure that your company, at least at first level, is unit level positive. Only when you achieve that scale, that size, and that clarity of your business model, do you build something that is repeatable. This means that every unit of whatever that you're selling, it could be chai, it could be a product, must be profitable transaction for you. While building a repeatable business model, you don't necessarily have to think disruptive. Learn from business models that have already been proven well in your industry. Great businesses make money not just by performing certain tasks, but by being different from the competition, such that you serve your customers better and more profitably as well. A repeatable business model means you could be introducing a new product line or new set of services, but your core business model remains solid and it scales as your business grows. We live in an ever-disrupting world. Your business model will change and evolve too, because if you don't, however large a business you might be, you will cease to exist. Remember this, it is very critical. As an example, one of the largest corporate giants from India that has always been in traditional businesses, they shifted to the digital future. The digital business models are proven and repeatable with software at its core. Remember, you must choose a business model that will make you cash and profits both, even as you evolve to serve your customers. What did you learn from the show today? Tell me more about it. Share your feedback with us, make your videos and post them on social media with #StartupChampions2. In the next episode, you will meet our startup champions from the incubation space. Thank you for watching Startup Champions 2.0. Jai Hind.
When we enter into incubation programs or an acceleration program with the women, we provide a time scale of anything between 3 to 8 years.
What exactly is the difference between an incubator and an accelerator?
An accelerator is more like an MBA program where you do your MBA and then you are on your own, whereas an incubator kind of keeps working with you for an extended period of time and is very well deep involved with you over a period of time.